Have you ever looked deeply into an animal's eyes and just wondered, what on earth do they actually see when they look back at me? I mean, not whether they like you or whether they trust you, but what they fundamentally believe you literally are. Well, in this explainer, we're totally flipping the script. We're going to go full reverse Attenborough here and observe the absolute strangest bipedal creatures on Earth, yep, us, through the eyes of the animal kingdom.
So let's just dive right into this bizarre thought experiment. You know that sudden late-night realization where you stop and think, wait, what does my pet actually think I am? Because the truth is, animals absolutely do not see humans the way we see ourselves. We define our entire existence by our names, our jobs, our phones, our incredibly complicated social dramas. But animals, they don't know about any of that. They really couldn't care less about your career. They judge us entirely through smell, sound, movement, routine, size, and behavior. So today, we are stepping completely outside of our own self-perception.
Section 1. The Inner Social Circle. Pets and the Illusion of Understanding. We're starting this journey right in the living room, with the creatures we confidently assume know us the absolute best, but who actually perceive us in radically different ways. Take dogs, for instance. They might understand our moods and our pointing better than anyone, but a dog doesn't think you're just a weird-looking dog. It knows you smell and act completely different. But, and here's the kicker, it doesn't see you as separate from its social world either. You are part of the pack. To a dog, you're basically a strange, upright pack member with a frankly terrible nose, but, amazing access to snacks. Now, switch gears to cats. A cat definitely 100% does not think you are a cat. It knows you're bigger, louder, and way less graceful. But here is the truly fascinating part. Adult cats rarely ever meow at each other. They mostly meow at humans. They literally developed this specific behavior, along with that slow blinking and rubbing, just for us. So researchers actually believe cats see us as social partners, or honestly, perhaps more accurately, as highly trainable giants who respond incredibly well to their auditory commands.
Section 2. Observers and Opportunists. The Wild Outside. All right. Step outside into nature, and wild animals view us not as family or staff, but as confusing, totally unpredictable environmental variables. Take the horse. Horses are prey animals, right? Which means their entire survival depends on reading body language. They don't care about the words you're saying. They care about your energy. They're constantly measuring your physical tension, your posture, your overall confidence. I mean, we present a massive paradox to a horse. Think about it. We're a small, predator-shaped creature, we have forward-facing hunter eyes, and we approach them directly like a predator naturally would. Yet, we don't attack. Instead, we bring them food, grooming, and companionship. Over time, they resolve this crazy paradox by basically viewing humans as safe leaders, strange herd members who ask them to do very specific things for reasons only a human could possibly understand.
And hey, if you think mammals are observant, just look at corvids, parrots, crows, ravens. These birds are freakishly intelligent. To a crow, you aren't just some generic human walking by. Research actually shows they recognize individual faces. If you treat a crow badly, it will remember you for years. Actually, scratch that. It gets wilder. It will warn other crows about you. To a bird, you are a giant wingless creature with a weird voice and highly powerful hands. But because you control the doors, the lights, and the food, you are elevated to a status of extreme importance in their world. You are either a generational threat or a lifelong ally.
And what about all that urban wildlife? For deer, pigeons, foxes, and squirrels, we're honestly often just background noise. We're sort of like moving trees that occasionally drop a French fry. But for the true opportunists, like raccoons, human civilization is viewed through a purely practical lens. Raccoons likely see humans as the eccentric owners of magical food boxes. Those boxes, obviously being our trash cans. To them, our sprawling, complex cities probably just look like a very complicated, highly efficient system designed entirely for producing their leftovers.
Section 3. The Alien Ocean View. Meeting Marine Intelligence. Let's take a deep breath and dive into the deep ocean. Because when we encounter marine life, we are quite literally meeting the most alien intelligences on Earth. And their perspective of us, well, it's truly humbling. We love to see ourselves as these advanced, daring explorers conquering the deep blue. But to a dolphin, man, we are incredibly clumsy, painstakingly slow swimmers making a ton of noisy bubbles. We require massive amounts of strange equipment just to survive underwater for a few minutes, and we just move so awkwardly. We aren't masters of the deep to them. We are the ocean's most uncoordinated, fragile tourists.
And this brilliantly illustrates our real place in the grand scheme of the ocean. A human swimming beside a whale is roughly the equivalent of a tiny little bird fluttering next to a massive skyscraper. Whales might not think much about us at all, simply because we're just so tiny in comparison. Yet, they are famously gentle around people. They seem acutely aware of our fragility. They don't understand our complicated lives above the surface, but they can perfectly sense our size, our clunky movement, and our extreme vulnerability in their vast, vast world. Then we have the octopus, representing perhaps the downright strangest view of humans of all. An octopus possesses a highly intelligent but completely decentralized mind. Its arms can explore, taste, and react almost totally independently of its central brain. It literally changes color with its skin. Interacting with an octopus is the absolute closest thing we have on Earth to making contact with an extraterrestrial intelligence. They experience reality in a way we can barely even begin to imagine.
So how does this brilliant alien mind actually see us? Well, in aquarium settings, an octopus likely views a human simply as a large, predictable creature outside the glass. But make no mistake, they are watching. They recognize individual keepers and will behave completely differently depending on exactly who is standing there. They might not have the capacity to comprehend what a human actually is in a biological or social sense, but they absolutely know that we are external creatures that matter to their daily environment. Section 4. We are what we do. The universal language of behavior. This is where all of these wild observations finally converge. We have to stop asking what animals think we biologically are and start looking at what they think we do. The absolutely crucial point here is the human pattern. Animals understand us way less as a species and way more as a collection of patterns. Dogs learn that the jingle of keys means you're leaving. Cats learn that the sharp pop of a tin can means food is coming. Crows learn which specific faces dictates safety or danger. Squirrels learn exactly which humans throw crumbs in the park. Animals don't philosophize. They don't sit around and ask, what is a human? They ask in their own intensely survival-focused way, what does this specific creature usually do?
It's a really humbling reminder, isn't it? While we sit at our desks, writing, analyzing, and meticulously documenting the animal kingdom, basically assuming we're the main characters of planet Earth, they are documenting us right back. They aren't trying to understand our politics, our careers, or our big dreams. They are simply trying to survive. And to do that, they are watching us much, much more closely than we probably realize. Every single moment, every sound you make, every habit you form, and every single choice you execute teaches the animal kingdom something about you. We are constantly, endlessly broadcasting to animals exactly what kind of creature we are. Not with our words, obviously, but with our actions. In the end, behavior is literally the only shared language that truly matters across species lines. Which leaves us with this final thought. A question to take with you the next time you lock eyes with your dog, or a crow, or a dolphin out in the waves. If behavior is the absolute only language they can possibly understand, what kind of creature are you telling them you are? Take a moment to really think about that. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.